Hey everybody, welcome back to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and on my YouTube channel here. And this week is the first video of a new series. I think it'll be a weekly series called the Studio Biz, Career Tips for Studio Owners. I get lots of questions and lots of people tracking me down on my YouTube channel and through email and such. A lot of my YouTube subscribers that are watching this video are guys and gals who are starting out in their mixing career. And they're getting to the point where they want to start turning this hobby that they have, that they really enjoy, they want to turn it into a business. And I get lots of questions on how you do that. How did I start? So on and so forth. What things do you need to be thinking about? They're confused. They're not really sure where to begin. And so this weekly series, I'll give you a tip or two every week on things you want to start to think about if you're looking to go from a hobby to more even of a part-time business or a full-time business in the recording business. And so this will be a weekly series, and so this week is tip number one. And the first thing I want to discuss with you is what I call finding your niche. Okay, so finding your niche means you want to start doing this and make money eventually, whether it's be part-time or full-time. You want to develop a website. You want to be a studio business, or you want to be a mixing engineer, for example, on a professional level, even if it's part-time. One of the things you have to think about is you got to think about, you know, there's a lot of people out in this world that do this type of work. It's a big universe out there. What is going to set you apart from everybody else? What is your niche? What are you going to focus on? How are you going to narrow your focus as an engineer, as a business, as a studio, to be the best at a very specific thing, or one or two very specific things? What is your calling card? Okay, what is your niche? I'm sure you've heard that topic or that term many times before in our lives. What are you going to focus on? So some of the things you want to think about when you're trying to figure out what your niche is and what you're going to focus on to be better than everybody else. So people call you when they're looking for is the thing that you do. And if you're a mixing engineer in this example, one of the things that you want to ask yourself really early on, let's say if you're a mix engineer, is what do you really love about mixing? You need to sit down and think about, what do you love about it? Why do you want to be a mixing engineer if that's what you want to be? If you want to be a mastering engineer, replace the word mixing with the word mastering engineer. If you want to be a music production, creating beats for hip hop and R&B, replace the word mixing with music production or beat producer, or whatever it is that you love to do. What do you love about it? If it's recording live bands in your studio and you want to be a recording engineer, replace the word mixing with recording engineer. Okay, you guys get the drift. But what do you love about it? You got to sit down and think about, what do you love about mixing in this particular example? Is it that you love, for me, I'll tell you what it was for me. A couple of things that was for me right off the top of my head was, one of the things that I really enjoyed about mixing that really made me dive deep and really, really do tons and tons of mixing and tons of training is I love the fact that when I would get multi-track recording in its raw state, meaning it was just raw recorded, no processing, and everything sounds really flat and really dull, even if it's a great recording, at its raw state, it's unpolished, it doesn't sound professional, it's just raw tracks, right? I loved being able to take that and shape that into something that sounded like it belonged on the radio. And then being able to go back to the very beginning and listen to the before and after. One of the things that I've always do is I always will do a static mix of a complete raw recording when it's brought to me as a multi-track, and just throw up the faders, do a little bit of panning, and then I print that mix so I know what the raw recording sounded like at the very beginning. And then at the end, when I'm done mixing, I like to listen to the back and forth between what did it sound like in the beginning before I started anything, and what did I ended up doing to this thing to make it sound great. I really love that process. Okay, one of the other things that I really enjoy, and I still do to this day, is I love when a client walks into my studio, or if I email off a finished product to a client and they listen to it for the first time. It's great when they're in my studio. I get more satisfaction by seeing the reaction of the client on how, wow, they're just blown away by what all they heard was the raw recording, and now they hear the finished product, and you could just see the look on their face. And in some cases, if it's I even had a client or two in the past actually, brought them to kind of to tears in a way. They were so happy with the way it came out, and they were just so the emotion just took over for them. And to me, that's what I love about mixing. You know, I love to see clients happy. I love when I send someone a mix in via even email, and they live in California and I live in Connecticut, and they send me this long email on how happy they were at the end of the process. That's what I love about mixing. Okay. So you got to figure it out for yourself. What do you love about it? What do you love about what you're going to try to focus on? Okay, then the second thing you want to think about is, what style of music do you really enjoy working on the most? One of the things that I see a lot of beginners do, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, it's just something to think about, is they try to focus on every different style of music under the sun. They want to do country, they want to do rock, they want to do blues, they want to do gospel, they want to do R&B, they want to do rap, they want to do thrash metal, they want to do it all. And although there's nothing wrong with that, if you really love all that style of music and you love it equally and you really enjoy working on all that style of music, that's great. But more times than not, I found, and for me, I found that my favorite music was really like kind of rock, classic rock, indie rock, not even heavy metal, although maybe hard rock, getting over that, getting too close to the threshold of metal, but not real heavy, you know, real thrashy metal, but like rock, hard rock, indie rock, pop rock. And that covers a wide variety of music. I mean, everything from maybe, say, you know, old school like Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, to like Metallica, Nickelback, Matchbox 20, all those kinds of, that kind of music. And that was my favorite kind of music. And so that's the stuff I really enjoy working on the most. And when you find something that you really enjoy working on the most, as far as a genre or style goes, you're going to find you're going to put your most effort into it. If you're not really into a style of music and you're just taking it on just to make the money, you're not going to do your best work a lot of the times. So for example, I'm not a rap guy. I don't really enjoy rap music. It's an art. It's a great style of music. It is widely and hugely popular. I don't, you know, look down upon anyone who loves that style of music. I personally just don't like it. So I don't work on rap records. I get calls for rap records all the time and I turn them down. Why? Because I really don't understand the music. I don't listen to the music in my free time. I really don't feel that I can do a great job on a rap record. I know 2 or 3 of my colleagues and 2 or 3 mix engineers that I refer to when someone calls me to do a rap record. Okay, yes, I'm turning away business, but I'm trying to focus on the style of music that I really enjoy, that I really understand, that I know what it's supposed to sound like at its finished product state. So I would encourage you to think about that when you're first getting into this, before you start advertising and you're now the mix engineer and you're trying to build a business. What style of music do you enjoy doing, and try to narrow your focus. If you're a country guy or gal, maybe you want to be the best at mixing and mastering country music. If you're a rock guy, maybe you want to be the best at mixing rock. If you're the rap guy, you want to be the best at mixing and production of rap music. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And that kind of leads into number 3. Again, what are you really good at? You got to look at your skill set and say, you know, what do I love doing, but what am I really good at? You know, an example, i.e. producing beats, teaching other engineers, song production, so on and so forth. You have to think about, what are your skill sets and what do you feel you're really good at? And what have other people told you you're really good at? Because that's a big part of what you want to maybe focus on in the beginning stages of your business to grow that business successfully in a more faster rate. Okay, so you may be, like, for example, I'm a guitar player. I love playing guitar. I've been playing guitar in bands for years. I would consider myself an intermediate at best guitar player. I am not a professional guitar player by any means. I'm also a drummer and I love to play drums, and I would consider myself an intermediate drummer. I could sit in the room with a bunch of musicians and I can play and hold my own, but I am not a studio drummer. I am not a studio guitar player. Although I love doing those things, I don't, as part of my business model, I don't play guitar and play drums on people's records. I've been asked to do that a lot and I turn it down. Why? Because I don't feel that even though I love to do it, I'm not really good at it at a studio session player level. So therefore I don't focus on it. What am I really good at? Well, I looked at what I was really good at, and I was really good at mixing. I was good at mastering, and I've been told that. And I also am good and have been told that I'm really good at teaching other engineers, like the people that are listening and watching this video. So those are the kind of things that I focus on in my business model. So you got to think about what you're good at. Just because you really like something doesn't mean that you're good at it or good enough at it to actually charge money to do it and get people to continue to come back and pay you for it. It doesn't mean that if you're not good at something and you really love it, that you can't get good at it, but you got to be willing to realize where you really are from a skill set standpoint, and are you willing and able to put the time in to get to the level that you need to be at and able to charge money? And that's a big question. So you got to think about, what are you really good at? What do you enjoy working on the most? What do you love about it? Okay. It leads into number 4. What sets you apart from your competition? Again, there's a lot of people that do this. If you're a mixing engineer, there's lots of mixing engineers, lots, thousands, tens of thousands throughout the United States. What's going to set you apart from everybody else? Why am I going to call you, if you're the country guy, you like working on country music, if I'm a country band or a country artist, why am I going to call you? What makes you better than everybody else? Now, that just doesn't necessarily mean your mixes sound better. That's actually, once you get to the level of making a mix that sounds professional, that becomes secondary. A lot of it has to do with your networking, your relationships, the way you treat people as a business, the way you are, are you loyal? Are you a man or a woman of your word? Can you meet deadlines? A lot of it is the personality aspect of it. It's not just, can you mix a good record? Okay, that's certainly part of it, but you got to think beyond that. So you got to think about what sets yourself apart from the competition. Okay, and you need to write it down. Write all these things down when you're answering yourself these questions. Really think about these things. Okay. For example, what sets me, I just started, as people know, you're watching this, homerecordingmadeeasy.com, my Made Easy series products that people now purchase. And a lot of you have purchased my products. That launched back in September of 2014. Prior to that, I have never created a product that was for sale. Okay. I created a product that was for sale and it's done extremely well. And before I started creating those products and releasing those products, one of the things I asked myself is, what is going to set myself apart from everyone else who makes mixing and mastering and EQ and compression videos? There's tons of those videos out online. There's tons of people on YouTube that advertise they sell those same products. What makes mine better? How am I going to stand out above the rest? And a couple, among a lot of things, but a couple of the things that I thought about was, not only was everyone teaches a little bit differently, so the teacher style certainly has something to do with it. However, I felt that if I kept my prices extremely affordable and gave you more content than any other product that was on the market, that was going to set myself apart. So the average mixing series videos runs 3 hours long. Okay, Mixing Made Easy is 6 or 7 hours long. And it's the best price in the business. They're about $15 per series. So people that have bought those before, you know that you can't find that much training for that price anywhere, bar none. You cannot find it. I've done the research. I challenge anyone to go out and see if you can find a mixing series products that's 7 hours long for less than $15. And that it's full of rich, full of really great content. And I didn't hide anything, and you turned over every stone and you shared all the information. You didn't hold back anything. That was what was going to set myself apart from the competition. Okay. Cheap prices, bang for the buck, best training on the market, hands down, from a price versus bang for the buck perspective. Okay. So that's just one example. You need to think about that for yourself. What are you going to offer that everybody else can't even compete with? Okay, and you may not know exactly what that is right now, but you need to think about that. You need to write that down, put it out in front of you every day, and you need to look at that every single day. What sets you apart from your competition? Okay, and then the last point in this video today is, remember, you can't be everything to everyone. You need to focus your niche. Like I said a little earlier, I don't believe you can be successful and try to be the best country mix engineer, the best rap engineer, the best hard rock mixing engineer, the best heavy metal mixing engineer. You can't be the best teacher in the world in producing beats. You can't do everything. There's an old saying, you don't want to be okay at a bunch of things. You want to be great at a very few selective things. So again, focus your niche. Figure out what you're really good at, what you really love, what kind of music you enjoy working on the most, what is going to set you apart from your competition, and keep things extremely focused. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope these tips were helpful to you. Again, this is the Studio Biz Career Tips for Studio Owners. We'll be doing this every couple of weeks. And for more information about me, go out to homerecordingmadeeasy.com. If you've never been to homerecordingmadeeasy.com, check out that website. A lot of free training up there, a lot of free videos up there. A lot of in my blog, and then there's also some products for sale on the products page. You can check those out as well. So until next time, this is David Vignola from homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will talk to you all soon. Take care.